stroke is it's a stroke that initiates from the larger muscle groups in the arm, travels down to the wrist and finger. Okay. The original applications of Moeller stroke was more like snare drum and drum set oriented, and it was about managing rebound. But the mallet version of it, or a mallet interpretation of it, is more about like creating velocity by stacking the muscle groups on top of each other. So a Moeller stroke accent initiates from the arm, starts with the lift from the arm, from the elbow, from the forearm, and then what's going to happen is the wrist is going to relax on the way up. You'll see that little break in the wrist, and the mallet will trail the forearm. And then what happens at the top of the stroke is the arm changes direction, and then the wrist and the hands follow. And on the way down, you have two mechanics working together. You have your arm initiating the motion, which sets the downstroke energy. And then on top of that, the wrist and the fingers are motivating the mallet to catch up to the arm. So if you think about that motion, it's almost like cracking a whip, okay? But literally it's just a stroke that starts from the arm with a relaxed wrist, and then the wrist comes around and you apply all that velocity stacked on top of each other. I think I was talking to the fall front ensemble about this a few weeks ago, and the analogy I gave was like I was driving down this service road in my car with the tennis ball in my hand, and then I threw that tennis ball while I was driving. Instead of just going the speed of my car driving down the street, it was like my speed of my car plus the throw. The velocity is compounded. So it's the same thing here. We're creating 2 layers of velocity by initiating from the arm, and then the whipping motion of the wrist and fingers catches up. The mallet catches up, so you're getting 2 forms of velocity being added to each other. Okay. The other aspect of that that's beneficial is using the weight of the arm first allows you to really isolate and control the rebound. Okay, so we're really trying to leave the weight of the arm down by the keyboard, and then when we play those unaccented notes in between, it's purely a function of the wrist. Okay, so your wrist is involved in every stroke in this section of the exercise, but when we play the accents, we like kind of anticipate the accent motion and start from the arm and fit that into the context of the unaccented notes. Okay, if you're new to this and you've never done that before, the focus isn't on the height of your accent. The focus is in the control of everything else. Okay, it's being able to use the Moeller stroke without it disrupting the natural flow of your own accent notes. Okay, what we don't want to have is this transitional note after each accent, where there's like the accent volume, there's the note after the accent, and then there's everything else. Okay, we just want to have 2 heights as we go through this section of the exercise until we get to the last 3 bars. Okay, cool. Last thing is this: when we start here at this section, we're starting at the peak of a crescendo. So from like this first chord here at letter B, the Moeller stroke section, you're not going to come into it with a Moeller style accent. You're going to come in with like a regular accent, and then from there everything is Moeller style accent. Okay. Anyone have any questions? Okay, great. All right, let's get to it. Here we go. I'm going to give you guys 8 from the Met, and we're going to start right on letter B. Okay. Here we go.